Hi everyone, just going to speak about the incredible benefits on fish oil and krill oil when you combine them for our brain health, cardiovascular health and immune health. So one observation I made over several years of looking at thousands of blood tests were those people who combine fish oil with krill oil at optimal levels of omega-3 fatty acids, along with a very healthy omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of around 2 omega-6s to 1 omega-3s. Usually I see 30 omega-6s to 1 omega-3s, and this can cause a plethora of health issues, as we're about to find out. Now, intriguing data suggests that combining fish oil and krill oil may provide enhanced support for cardiovascular health and the nervous system, including the brain. This is due to the different levels and the rates of uptake observed for omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil and krill oil in plasma, platelets, and red blood cells. Now, the historical ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 ratio throughout 4.5 million years of hominid evolution, diets were abundant in seafood and other sources of omega-3 long-chain fatty acids, also known as EPA and DHA, but relatively low in omega-6s, especially from seed oils, which should be called death oils. Anthropological research will suggest that our hunter-gatherer ancestors consumed omega-6 and omega-3 fats in a roughly 1-to-1 ratio, which also indicates that both ancient and modern hunter-gatherers were free of many of the modern inflammatory diseases like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity, that are the primary causes of death and morbidity today. Now, over the course of human evolution, there has been a dramatic change in the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fats consumed in the diet. Now, this change, perhaps more than any other dietary factor, has contributed to the epidemic of modern disease. Now, for example, Dr. Donald Rudin, who was the author of the omega-3 phenomenon, he estimated that over the past 75 years, we have reduced our omega-3 fatty acid consumption by 80%. And dietary advice about fats and the risk of heart disease is called into question by, for example, the British Medical Journal, as a clinical trial shows that replacing saturated fats with the omega-6 polyunsaturated fats from vegetable fats is linked to an increased risk of death among patients with heart disease. Okay, so observational studies found that women with the highest intakes of the omega-6 fats and lowest intakes of omega-3 fats at an 87 to 92% greater risk of breast cancer than those with more balanced intakes. Now, also, cancer is highly dependent on inflammation for its promotion once a malignant cell has developed. Animal and human studies are revealing multiple ways in which omega-3 fatty acids may quell cancer-associated inflammation with far-reaching effects in colorectal, in breast, in pancreatic, and in blood system cancers. Now, omega-6 fats also in excess actually instruct the body to store fat. It instructs the body to make bigger fat cells and to make more cells available for fat storage. So if you want to increase your fat burning capabilities and switch off the fat storage switch, then you must increase your omega-3 intake and decrease your omega-6 intake. And we can measure this easily, so which I'll go into very shortly. So consuming more oily fish, or consider taking an omega-3 supplement such as pharmaceutical grade fish oil combined with krill oil, and you can turn off the fat storage switch more efficiently. Omega-3 fats has also been proven to lower body fat. In fact, it's been shown that supplementing with fish oil for only 6 weeks has a noticeable effect on body composition and lean muscle mass. So studies have also observed a phenomenon known as fuel partitioning, whereby dietary omega-3s were able to direct glucose from digested carbohydrates towards glycogen storage, while at the same time directing other fatty acids in the body away from triglyceride synthesis, i.e. fat storage, and then towards fatty acid oxidation, also known as fat burning. Okay, and in addition then, these studies also suggested that the omega-3 fatty acids have the unique ability to enhance thermogenesis, the burning of excess fat to produce heat, thereby reducing the efficiency of body fat deposition. In simple terms, this fuel partitioning phenomenon appears to conserve carbohydrate while simultaneously stimulating fat burning, and this is what obviously most of us want. So knowing your omega-3 to omega-6 ratio could literally save your life. Now, the test is based on the groundbreaking work of a team of Harvard researchers, and what they found is that people with total omega-3 levels between 6.1 and 10.2% in the blood had a compelling 90% lower risk of sudden cardiac death compared with those with the omega-3s that were between 2.1 and 4.3% or less in their total fatty acids. And I often see people well below 4% on all the panels that I run. So therefore, then knowing what our omega-3 levels are via the omega-3 index score enables us to establish many key indices of cardiovascular risk, including risk of sudden cardiac death, risk for developing heart disease, and also risk of fatal ischemic heart disease. Now, this crucial information can then be used to create an omega-3 supplement regime with the appropriate amount of omega-3s to attain healthy blood levels that may prevent a lethal cardiac event. Now, also then in recent studies, scientists have found that fish oils act like repairmen to mend broken blood vessels. Now, the results were published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Fish oil boosts the production of stem cells that actually repair blood vessels. Now, previous studies show the benefits of fish oils on heart health, but the exact mechanisms weren't entirely understood. Now, scientists from the University of Reading in the UK, they tested the effect of fish oil on two new markers for heart disease, endothelial progenitor cells and endothelial microparticles. Now, the endothelium is the inner lining of the blood vessel walls. Now, poor endothelial function is associated with atherosclerosis, narrowing the blood vessels, high blood pressure, heart disease. Now, endothelial progenitor cells, which are stem cells that turn into endothelial cells, they actually repair the damaged blood vessels. And a higher number is thought to decrease the risk of heart disease. And on the other hand, endothelial microparticles, they're released by damaged blood vessels and correlate with an increased risk for heart disease. Now, in this study, 84 participants at increased risk for cardiovascular disease were randomized to receive 1.5 grams of fish oil daily or were part of a control group for 8 weeks. Now, at the end of the trial, the participants taken the fish oil at 24-fold higher amounts of endothelial progenitor cells and 20% less endothelial microparticles. I mean, that is just absolutely incredible. And the results indicate that fish oil supplementation leads to blood vessel repair, as witnessed by the increase of endothelial progenitor cells and resulted in less in endothelial damage. The results add to the growing benefits of fish oil. A 2021 study also found that higher omega-3 blood levels are actually associated with an increased life expectancy of 4.7 years. Another study also found that having the highest levels of omega-3 blood levels, also compared to the lowest, was associated with a 34% lower risk of death from any cause. Now, fish oil and krill oil share many important similarities, such as effectively reducing the ratio of the omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids in the body. This is an important biomarker associated with lower levels of chronic inflammation, and both krill oil and fish oil also increase plasma and cell membrane concentration of omega-3 fatty acids. Now, there are now close to 20,000 scientifically published studies on the benefits of omega-3 fatty acids. Researchers continue to discover new longevity mechanisms, such as reducing brain shrinkage and protecting memory, as we've just seen, improving endothelial function. Scientists have also begun to analyze how different omega-3 sources affect the body. So also things like suicide risk has also been linked to low omega-3 levels in the blood and cell membranes. In one such study, researchers at the Department of Neuroscience at the New York State Psychiatric Institute, they followed 33 medication-free depressed patients for 2 years. 7 of the subjects attempted suicide. Low plasma DHA, which is docosahexaenoic acid from fish oil, in the serum, that compared to a high ratio of omega-6 fats to omega-3 fats, accurately predicted the suicide attempts. Now, researchers are now also reporting that Alzheimer's may also be linked to chronic omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA. Nutritional deficiencies in what is now known as the Framanin study trials, subjects with low plasma DHA levels were at greater risk of Alzheimer's, plus DHA levels were lower in the brain and plasma of patients with dementia. Now, researchers are also suggesting that DHA is the only omega-3 fat that actually protects cognitive function during aging, a topic reiterated by Johns Hopkins Health Alert. They state that appropriate levels of dietary DHA alone could help prevent up to 70% of new Alzheimer's cases. And researchers increasingly finding that the lower intake of omega-3s in early life is also associated with abnormalities, including autism and ADHD. So ensure you consume optimum amounts of omega-3 fatty acids, either from fish or pharmaceutical grade fish oil supplements and krill oil, and know what your omega-3 to omega-6 index score is, so you can be much more accurate in how much omega-3s you actually need to consume. Thanks for listening.